Hello, everybody, for those of you who are joining a little early. Because we're doing some different things. We're just taking a little extra time to making sure it all works. That's all. There we go. Let's see. Do this. It appears that's working. And it also appears that this is working. So I'm pretty happy with everything. Seems to be working pretty well, pretty easily, pretty cool. So yeah, we'll be starting in just a few moments. We're really glad that you're going to be joining us here today on this Valentine's Day edition. Looks like we got Lindsay and Charlie and Justin and Brunette have joined, and Timothy as well. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Let's see, move this. And Cheryl is watching us over on YouTube as well. We hope that you are enjoying that. All right. That's excellent. We got quite a few people joining over on the Facebook side. We've got people joining over on the YouTube side. So we will be getting going here in just a moment. I'm actually going to finish a couple pre-show checks. Things I just want to make sure. I'm just really paranoid with the new things that we're doing, that everything works out well. So forgive us for starting just a little bit early. Then I gotta see, is Danny joined us? Danny has not yet joined us yet. Thursday is my busy day to begin with, and so I'm always a little bit behind, trying to get everything taken care of. For those of you who may not have caught some of the recent downloads over on the podcast side of the house, 2 were released on Monday, 2 were released yesterday, 2 will be released tomorrow, and then we'll get basically back to Tuesdays and Thursdays next week for passing out our newest episodes. It's really, really cool. Oops, I just lost something. Crud. Yeah, Trisha, I almost forgot it was Thursday as well. Let's see. Give me a second. Hope everybody's doing really well today. And, it's just really kind of a crazy day. Trying to get something situated here. Goodness gracious. I make one small change. Ah, there we go. I know. You guys just love the behind the scenes stuff, don't you? It's always a lot of fun. A lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Mary, Danny should be here in just a moment. I don't see him yet. He has the link to join us, so he should be here momentarily. You know, he'll be here shortly, but height has nothing to do with it. Yeah, Mary, I don't know how well the YouTube stuff works in the sense of notifications. So I am also trying to start a little bit early. Trying to get that taken care of. But I hope everybody is having an absolutely fabulous day. All right. Valentine's Day, huh? February 14th. Best part about February 14th is tomorrow, February 15th, when all chocolate is half price over at your local store. And you think I'm kidding. Nicholas asks, hey, Chris, do I have a decent Disney collection? I think so. I think I got a really cool Disney collection. I've actually started becoming a little bit more picky about what I do for my Disney collection. I'm trying to get it more, not necessarily functional, and more purposeful. So I buy less stuff. I collect fewer things, but the things I do collect are much more expensive. Hey, Mallory, how are you doing? I just read your comments. I'm sorry to hear that. That stinks. Oh, I just realized I'm not in the right. Well, no. Oh, wait, here he comes. Here he comes. He's putting his headset on. He's got his Pizza Hut hat on. That's right, everybody. It's Uncle Daddy. There he is. You know, I was gonna wear that hat, but I didn't want anybody to say, "Oh, look, Uncle Daddy and Mr. Chris are twinsies."
We haven't matched in a really long time.
No, we haven't, and I could say something really funny about it, but no, we really haven't matched in a really long time. And yeah,
we didn't start the show, did you?
It's live right now because I was making some adjustments.
Yeah, I saw that, but you didn't do the intro roll, right?
Oh no.
Okay, cool. So what I need you to do for me real quick is make me the big screen for a second.
Okay, here you go. Wait, wrong button. Here, this one.
Nope, that's you.
That's me. Wait.
If you click on me, it should be in the top left corner of my picture. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, so it's Valentine's Day. So I was busy at work, and then I decided to surprise Lindsay and bring her flowers. So part of my gift to her for our anniversary, for Valentine's Day, I booked our Disney trip. So she had gotten me the tickets and the commemorative hat from the Mickey Museum. But she wanted to do one more thing for me. So she got me something. Well, she made me something. Check this.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Uncle Danny's BTEP office. Oh my gosh.
How awesome is this thing?
Oh my god.
Yo, it's so heavy. It's a real sign.
Oh Oh,
And don't worry, she didn't make the camera. There you go. She didn't like rip it off of the road or anything. It's a legitimate street sign that she legally got. I can't divulge anymore without going in deeper, but yes, it's all legal. And she actually made it. So it's so heavy. But it's awesome. I can't. Yeah. There's more surprises to come later. Once a couple things fall in line, but it'll all start to make sense very soon.
It'll all start to make sense really soon, he says.
Not soon enough.
It's intriguing.
Yeah. So that thing's so dope.
That really is.
That might be one of the coolest things I've got. And like the funny thing is so we've been doing the show. I've been 3.5, almost 4 years, something like that. Whatever it's been, 3 years, I think. My mom has never realized, because she goes, BTEP. What is BTEP? And I look at her, I'm like, Behind the Ears Podcast. She goes, oh, I never knew that. I'm like, it is literally tattooed on my arm. She goes, oh, that's what that is? I've only had the tattoo for like 3.5, almost 4 years now. Yeah, she's a hoot.
I mean, you have it on your arm. I'm not that permanent. I have it on my license plate. So
close enough.
Close enough. And I do have people going, what's that? Really? Go away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It is. You know what? I have to say this, and I'm saying this with humor. So people who do a lot of Etsy stuff, please don't get mad at me for saying this, but that just put all your Cricut stuff to shame. So,
oh yeah, sorry. It's not to be disrespectful, but I mean,
whole new level of
that is. If that's not love, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is.
We've got a lot of people that it just says, let's see. We got a couple people are joking around. Mary got married this day in 2000.
Oh wow.
Justin says it's just another day.
Trust me, I'm not a big Valentine's Day person. No, you know what it is, and you know what? I'm going to save my opinion for when we get into the show.
So, you and I didn't get a really big chance to talk much today. Sometimes we usually get to see. By the way, everybody thinks that sign is so cool. So I'm going through some of the comments. Jess goes, thanks, Chris.
And the funny thing, the minute you said that, that's exactly where my mind went to.
I guess I'm gonna have to drive up to Madison to give Jess a big hug and then leave.
So help her move. It's okay.
I did help her move, and that was kind of fun-ish. During the heaviest rainstorm in the world, that was really, Okay, so
going.
Going. I haven't. Go ahead and start.
Yep, I already started.
Yay! All right, let me press a few buttons here. You got to figure out which button to press.
Mute myself.
Yeah, go mute yourself. Go mute yourself. Okay. Hold on a second. Move this over here. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, kingdomstrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from kingdomstrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact kingdomstrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's kingdomstrollers.com. Do you want to save around 40% off Disney's prices for deluxe on-property accommodations? Contact dvc-rental.com. They help out Disney Vacation Club owners rent out points that they're not going to use. These points mean savings for you on your next trip at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Vero Beach, Florida, and Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. The DVC member books everything in your name, just like any other reservation. And if you ever decide that you want to become a DVC member, you can check out our sister company, buyandselldvc.com. As a licensed realtor, they sell DVC contracts for members at a savings of 30 to 40% off Disney's prices. And if you're looking to sell your contract, buyandselldvc.com has one of the industry's lowest commissions at only 6.5%. Again, that's dvc-rental.com for your rental needs, and buyandselldvc.com to buy or sell into the Disney Vacation Club at a large discount. And make sure you tell them that the Behind Ears podcast crew sent you. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I got to tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. We are coming to you live and in color on either YouTube, on Facebook, maybe on your podcast player. But either way, we are celebrating a special day, not only because it is Valentine's Day, not only have we taken time out of our day, but we are celebrating another successful episode of Behind the Ears podcast. So we thank you all for tuning in, for listening, for taking the time out of your day. I really don't know where to go from that, so just thank you.
Wow, I mean, talk about, go ahead and just how are you doing, man? I mean, it's Valentine's Day. Love is in the air.
Sorry, it got really hot in here, so I'm gonna throw that fan on real quick.
Really? You're gonna a fan on in winter?
I had my air conditioning on my truck today. It was like a whole 45 degrees outside. It was warm. It was a balmy.
45 degrees, and you have the AC on?
Well, when you're running around in the truck all day, it's a little toasty.
Okay, you
respect that?
I can respect that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, almost all the snow and ice have melted, and like this morning, it's like the driveway was all covered, and now everything is gone. Yeah,
we had like a couple inches of snow the other day, but that got washed away quite quickly. Just want to open up my chat window here. All right, there's that pop-up window. So
window here, we got the pop-up window there.
Got pop-up windows everywhere. So did you do anything special today?
Not a darn thing. And I'll be honest with you. Usually Valentine's Day, nah, don't really do anything. I know what I did though. I sent my wife a number of Valentine's Day kind of inspired comics from Katana Comics on her phone through Facebook. And it was kind of funny. She said she was going through Sam's Club while I was sending all these things, and she was laughing, not able to pay attention to what she was doing while I was sending her all these really cool, funny, lovey-dovey comments. And I'm like, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to do that. My wife and I, listen, I'm going to be really honest with you. My wife and I, long time ago, caught each other going to like the card section at the local, department store type of thing, looking for cards for each other. And what we started to do was just picking out cards for each other to read while we're there, putting them back and then leaving. And, quite honestly, we still don't really do too much for each other. Chocolate's not really our thing. Cards are not really our thing. And so we just kind of just enjoy, I had to work. She had to work. I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things tonight. I got to work a little bit more after the show. So yeah. Did you do anything cool other than get a sign from Lindsay? Hey, you know what Lindsay was saying? Here's your sign. So,
put it up now. No, I worked all day. We weren't even supposed to see each other. I ran through. I have to watch what I say. I ran through my job quickly. I got done at a reasonable time. When I mean reasonable, I still worked like 10.5 hours today. And I shot down to see her, give her flowers. She gave me the sign. Didn't know I was getting the sign. It was just more going down. All right, so I want to touch on this Valentine's Day thing.
Okay.
So I'm not a big fan of Valentine's Day. I would assume that I'm in the majority here, that most men are not Valentine's Day fans.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll give you that.
I'm going to give men 2 points. And you might say, Danny, you're like, what, 30? Almost. Don't make me older than I am. But two things that I've learned, and it was something I learned from my father, and I'm sure he learned from his father, and I'm sure that someone along your life as a man has told you this. And if they haven't, I got you covered. So 2 things. Valentine's Day is a Hallmark holiday. We can all agree. It's overpriced flowers, stale chocolates, and everything is super expensive.
Yes.
I'm all for showing your appreciation on Valentine's Day, because you do not want your significant other to be the one person who doesn't get flowers. Come on. When all their friends and other coworkers are getting stuff, that's unfair. Treat them nice. But here's the thing. You can't be a bum 364 days and think you can make up for it on today. Appreciate your significant other the other 364 days outside of Valentine's Day. Bring them flowers because it's Wednesday. That was something I learned from my father. Now, number 2. Guys. What are you doing at like 8:15 at night, just stopping now to get flowers and chocolates at a local grocery store, and then complaining to the poor women that are working the flower department that they don't have the right flowers? Come on, do better. With this day and age of technology, you could order from a million other places. You can pre-order from grocery stores or other places like that. Be prepared, gentlemen. Here's the thing. There's a difference between a man and a gentleman. We all thrive to be men. You always hear that. You don't want to be a boy. You don't want to be a man. You want to be a man, right? Or you want to be that man. That's great. Don't thrive to be a man. Thrive to be a gentleman. And that's Uncle Danny tip of the day. That's all I got.
Well, you don't have White Castle hamburgers out by you, do you?
Yeah, we do. I had them last week.
Oh, okay. So you know all about sliders.
Oh yeah, Crave Case, baby.
They have the Crave Crate, right?
I did see that, and that's dangerous. I might die.
Yeah, 100 of those little things. Seriously, one of these days I'm doing it, and it's going to probably be the day I just either die of a heart attack or die of dysentery, one of the two.
Yeah.
So you can actually make reservations to have your Valentine's Day dinner with your Valentine at White Castle. Now,
there's nothing wrong with that.
I was going to say, some may think that's weird. I say that's unique. Anybody can go have a fancy schmancy dinner and spend a lot of money on, expensive food and stuff like that. But I think it takes creativity and even a little bit of gumption to say, you know what? I'm taking my Valentine to White Castle. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do that. But man, about 2 hours later, you don't want to be in the office. It's as simple as that.
I love White Castle.
You don't like White Castle?
I love White Castle.
Oh, okay, you love White Castle.
It's my kryptonite, though.
It's a bad thing, So
catch 22.
Here's the thing. I thought for Valentine's Day, Danny, you and I, since we're kind of here, we are. Think about it. It's 9 or 10 o'clock at night, depending on which time zone you're talking from, and we're here on the air with 50 of our friends or more. And I think we need to talk about the things that we really, really love at the Disney parks or Disney.
You're gonna say White Castle. I was like, well, I do like
No,
chicken rings.
dude, could you only imagine if White Castle became something of a staple inside of the Disney parks? I would love that. I would. One thing is, you cannot do White Castle and then go on Mission Space. Yeah, just Orange Line, and you just can't do it. Simple.
Yeah, there's certain things you just don't do. So what is it? Why? So what was the question before I rudely interrupted it? What
I think, what are some of the things that we really truly love at the parks or at the resorts, or what do we truly love about Disney? And I know this can be kind of sappy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a thing. It could be an experience. It could be anything about it. Like, I'll start us off.
Okay.
How's that? The one thing I love about when I go to Disney, I really love to do different things that I normally wouldn't do at home, especially when it comes to dining. Now, I'm not going to make this into a dining episode or anything else like that, but I will try different things. I will eat different things. I will try different fancy schmancy restaurants. I will try cheap places. I will try character meals. I will try a whole bunch of different things because I just really want to try different things at Disney. Because, you know, I asked my wife, I said, we're not going out tonight. I'm going out of town tomorrow night. My daughter's coming in the following weekend. I have no idea when I'm going to be able to take my wife on a date night type of thing. And I said, I'd really like to take you out somewhere nice. And she starts rattling off places, and they're all the same places that we usually go to. I'm like, no, I want to try something different. And since she's like, well, we haven't really tried anything different in a long time. I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, if we were, if we were at Disney, we would have a plethora of choices of different things that we would be able to try. And like last year, we tried the Yachtsman Steakhouse, absolutely loved it. And we're going back to that because we really want to try the different things on the menu this time. We were really safe last time. This time we're doing it again. And of course, we'll have our son with us at the time too. But the thing is, that
trip is between now and when you leave, right?
Something like that. It's a future trip, that's for sure. But the funny part about it is that if we weren't adventurous, we would have never tried it because it would just seem so out of style for us. And
it's a steakhouse, though.
It's a steakhouse, but it's very upscale. Every time I go by there, it kind of makes me feel like I should almost have a tie on because it's such a nice place.
You should really have a tie on, though.
I did dress up nicely. I had.
I'm sure you did. I wasn't. That was not a slight at you.
No. I know it wasn't a slam. I'm just saying, I dressed up nicely. Kathy had a nice dress. We made it a nice evening. We really super enjoyed it.
The ambiance there is just great. Just being able to walk out, and I tell people this all the time. As much as I love their dessert, I don't mean to overwalk on your point.
No, that's good.
As much as I love the dessert, because I've been the Yachtsman quite a few times. I actually won my last solo trip when I was completely by myself. No Nick and Jess, no nobody. It was just me. I ate there by myself. It was one of the only sit-down places because it's just that good. As good as their dessert is, I recommend having a nice big steak. Get nice and full. Then go for a stroll. If you have an earlier reservation, you have the park for that day, walk in Epcot. Do a little stroll around. But say it's later at night, take a walk around the boardwalk. And then I always like to end it at Beaches and Cream.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's a lot of food, though. You got to space them out, you know.
It is. It is a lot of food. But, man, it was really super good. But here's the also thing. It was really a nice steakhouse with quality meat. And we go to this steakhouse locally, and it really is a good place to go. The problem of it is it can get a little loud. It can get a little rambunctious. They serve the peanuts in a, galvanized metal bucket that you throw the peanuts anywhere. Although they now have another another bucket that you put the peanut shells in.
I'm surprised they still do that this day and age with peanut allergies.
Oh, there's a big sign on the door saying warning, sure. Peanuts, peanut shells, peanut dust in the air and stuff like that. I mean, it's, they do make sure that people understand it. And it's a good place to go, but I really enjoy myself just a nice bougie steakhouse. I mean, it is just one of those things I really truly enjoy. So that is one of the things I enjoy trying something different. It doesn't matter what it is. I just happen to use food as an example. That's just one of my favorite things to do. And yeah, so yeah, food is the word. Hold on one second. Don't say anything yet. All right, continue.
Okay. I'm gonna go with something not similar because I'll touch on food later because I mean we both can't not talk about food. The one thing that I will say is being able to walk. I don't even want to say that. Being able to go on vacation and not have the stress of the rest of the world around you. I've been lucky enough in my life, whether it was from family or good fortune of me working hard and saving my money. I've traveled a lot. I've been to different countries. I've been to many different islands. I've been a lot of places in the United States. You'd never feel as tucked away and as safe as you do in Disney. Everything you can possibly ever think you would want and or need, Disney has to offer, and if they don't, they will find a way for you to get it. When you just walk in there, he truly did make it like a bubble. And the aspect of is as far as the eye can see while you're in any of the parks, even most of the resorts, all you are is surrounded by Disney. Disneyland, you get the beautiful mountain backdrop, yes, but you are plunked down in the middle of a city. When you are in Disney World, you are just on acres and acres of swamp, essentially. I know a swamp's not the best sounding thing, but you really just are tucked away. It's like, I don't want to call it a hidden gem because obviously Disney is a household name.
I was just saying, it's like hidden in plain sight, maybe, but
yeah, and that's almost, yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good explanation. It really is hidden in plain sight because I don't think the once every 5 years, the people who are not huge Disney fans like you, myself, most of the people watching us really realize how secluded but close to everything you truly are. And that is one thing I am grateful for.
I have to totally agree. I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of people that ask me, why do you keep going back to Disney? And, some might, there's a lot of people actually post different things in different Facebook groups about how people ask, why do you keep going to Disney? And there's also a lot of people that say they get a lot of crap for it too. And I always basically, I basically keep telling them, I go, hey, listen, I can go there and I can actually, feel like I have no problem shutting off my phone, leaving my computer at home, arm myself with a magic band and a camera and just enjoy myself. And that is my little haven. So that's my whole take on it.
All right. I have another one. Or was that not yours? Were you just tagging along?
I was just tagging on. Go ahead. Go on with the other one.
Food. Let's jump into the food here.
Oh, you do want to go food?
Of course I want to go food. You tell me one other place. I'm not going to say the world because I haven't been to every place in the world, but a major destination spot, whether it's a Sandals, a all-inclusive resort, another beach resort somewhere, the Grand Canyon, I don't know, wherever you want to look at. You tell me you can go there. And we all make fun of Disney food at times. I am the #1 person that always make fun of Disney food, especially Magic Kingdom food. Chicken nuggets, all corn dog nuggets. You tell me any other vacation where you can go and have the option of eating almost anything you can think of. Think about just Epcot alone. The amount of different ethnic foods they have to offer. The Garden Grill also at Epcot. Then you can go over to Animal Kingdom and you have Asian inspired cuisine. Then you have go to Disney Springs. I mean, I know Bongos is either on its way out or is out at this point. But you had other nationalities of ethnic foods down in Disney Springs. You have American cuisine, and I'm going to say this word and don't take it the wrong way, for more of the bland eaters that like to stick to their, what their comfort zone is. Right. Disney offers the comfort zone of food and the adventurous side of food. And then there is that little gray area. Because don't get me wrong, there's times I'm in Disney where I'm like, you know what? I just want a side salad. I want some French fries, and I want a big juicy hamburger. And then there's other days I'm like, ooh, fried lamb. Never had it. Let's try it. Like there's times that you could be like, hey, I got the scorpion on a stick. You want to try it? Sure, why not? And there's other times I'm like, nah, man, just give me some mashed potatoes. Scorpion on a stick. Where the heck did you come up with that?
I don't know, man. I went to a couple South American countries and they did things like that, and I was like, it wasn't bad. It tastes like chicken, but either way,
it's like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken.
You're not going to see me adding that to the menu anytime.
But I really like that they'll hit any type of craving you might want.
Right.
I will say this though, on a negative side, I feel like they don't have enough eateries open late.
That's an interesting observation, because I think there's a lot of times guests assume that everything is going to be open until closing.
Yeah.
And so therefore art thou, when they get to something and it's closed, they're like, well, what gives? I don't mind it, but I wish that I knew about it.
Can you Uber Eat into your resort? I think so. I know Florida is big in the Uber Eats. I've done it numerous times in Florida, but I've never done it to Disney property.
Huh. I think you can. I've never done Uber Eats. I mean, is it convenient?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Really?
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere. You just literally pull up either Grubhub, Uber Eats, whichever you prefer, and it gives a list of everything that site has to offer in that particular area. Then not only does it break it down by average price, like if it's a 1-star, it's pretty cheap food, McDonald's, things like that. It also breaks down, because there's sit-down restaurants that do it. It also breaks down the estimated time. So you could be like, oh, McDonald's, I'm starving. I just want cheap McDonald's food, and I love McDonald's. Okay, usually takes 20 to 25 minutes. But you can actually order steak from steakhouses and things, and it will be like 45 minutes to an hour. It's a very in-depth site, and I've yet to use it on Disney property. We do have Brian saying Postmates at Disney World is now available, and also Uber Eats at Disney. So that is a huge thing to take and to keep in consideration for you late night eaters that maybe want something in particular and can't get it because things are closed.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean, because I know there have been plenty of times that we will go to the food court at the resort and and nothing's open, or if it's just closed, or worse yet, there's 50,000 people at the food court at 10:59 to try to get something. I really haven't had too much of an issue. Although, the Grand Floridian, it's my understanding that the quick serve place there is actually open 24 hours. They don't necessarily have everything available.
Is it a grab and go for 24 hours, or they actually have food cooked?
I think it's grab and go after a certain point, but it's still available 24 hours, and they still have a lot of, good stuff that you can actually get, which, hey, listen, if it's midnight or something like that, and all I really want is just a sandwich, you can still do something like that. I've not actually been there that late, but I will say that I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but I've been there a few times. I've had some really good food from there. It's really, really tasty. I don't know if there's others that are open 24 hours off the top of my head, but I just, for example, that happens. But if you go over to the food court at, say, Pop or Art of Animation, it's open a little bit on the later side, but there are certain things that will start closing at 11. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, even when I stayed at Riverside, you know, they had it open, but it was limited. You know, and I see Mary saying Grand Floridian's menu at night is basically a grab and go with and pizza. Right. So someone like me, grab and goes kind of freak me out a little bit. They remind me of a 7-Eleven. I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure everybody has 7-Elevens. I feel like they're nationwide. I don't really eat like sandwiches that are like pre-packaged like that, especially when it's like turkey and things. I'm like, how long has that really been sitting? I know they have expiration dates, people. I get it. It just freaks me out. I was in the food industry for years. Trust me, those dates mean nothing. And you know, I won't touch Florida pizza. So that's when I kind of be like, oh. And I see Jess saying like, oh, snacks. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes like you get back to the resort after watching fireworks and I want chicken. I want a burger. I want substance, you know? But I will say, like, even like when I stayed at Riverside, I brought that up before about how, you know, their quick service will be open most times, but it usually is very limited. And it's usually like whatever they basically have left over from the dinner rush. Yeah. Usually the hamburgers is open, the grab and goes open. But if you walk in to Riverside, you'll have the little bakery where they do like the ice cream and the cupcakes and everything. Then you have the burger spot. Then you have the big wraparound grab and go. And then on your right-hand side, you've got the hot meals, whether it's turkey for the day or whatever they're cooking for that day. Every time I've shown back up to the resort after the fireworks, that section is closed. So you're basically on the desserts and hamburgers. And usually, I mean, I've been there when they've run out of fries. They're just like, yeah, we're not making it anymore.
Yeah. Well, also a couple things. Disney Deuce over at YouTube basically says it's 24/7. Gasparilla Grill is where I was referring to over at the Grand Floridian. And our friend Brian also says it's only the deluxes that stay open and it's their food court. So that just helps clarify.
So Wilderness Lodge stays open. I'll find out. I'll let you know.
You're going to find out. Yeah, you're going to find out here soon enough. And just to kind of verify, I mean, hey, I love it when our listeners chime in with what they know. So basically now you get to find out for sure. And then you also get a little idea of what they have at those times.
You know, Mallory says, you know, I'm shocked that Disney allows off-property food like Uber Eats or DoorDash and all those. I figured they want you to use room service. But they don't really have room service, though.
They have room service available almost anywhere.
But the hours are limited.
Hours are limited. It's not 24/7. And usually it's very limited in the sense of what you can get.
It takes forever.
And it's very expensive.
I've never eaten it, but I've been outside when I was a smoker. I'd be outside, you know, on the balcony at Pop, and I would see them in their little golf cart with their pizza, and I'd be like, man, like they'd like no urgency. I'd be like, I'm waiting for my pizza. Let's go.
Well, and, you know, and also it's like, if you think about it, this is also one of the reasons why I like staying at Saratoga, especially if you're going to be over by the Springs or the Congress Park area. Walk over to Disney Springs, man. It's just, you just go over there, you go chomp down on something over there, bring it back. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good eats. I don't care what you say. So, well, one of the other things I really enjoy, and this is going to sound a little bit, I don't know. I think it's going to sound a little bit corny, but one thing I really truly do like, and I don't get to go to Disney, not in the summertime often, but I really do love it when I go out there in the fall, in the winter, in the spring. And to me, it's warm no matter what. You know, I know that sounds kind of silly. It sounds kind of corny because everybody's like, oh, it's the Sunshine State. You're just going to be a snowbird. You're going to come down and enjoy it and then go back and so on and so forth. Yeah, that is absolutely true. But I really super enjoy the fact that Florida's down in the south. It's nice and warm. And I know that there were some cold snaps that some people got into. You know, some people were saying that it got down to, you know, near freezing, which, yeah, that's cool.
Halloween was 28 degrees when I was there Halloween night.
Oh, yeah. And that's, and no doubt about it, that's cold. It's as simple as that. You know, at the same time, you know, today or this week, it's been in the lower 80s. You know, I know there's been some, you know, mix of clouds, rain, and sun, and everything else like that. Okay, but it's better than what I've got right now. That's all I've got to say. So the thing is that I really think Walt had an eye for where to really put this park. And I think he nailed it, because if you go further south, it's going to get even more hot. You go north and it's, you know, just, yeah, I don't know.
I think he could have went north with it.
Really? You think so?
I think if you had pushed Jacksonville, you could even have gone just south of Atlanta, basically right at the border. I think you would have been all right. But I think anything north of Georgia, no. You would have months where people didn't want to go. But at the same time, they'll look at Disneyland Paris. They get snow and it's gorgeous and people still go.
Same in Shanghai.
Yeah, so you know, like it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, look, Maui got snow the other day.
I saw that.
How wild was that?
I saw that. I'm like, holy smokes, you got to be kidding.
You want to talk about people not knowing what to do? We make fun of Florida when they get like, you know, oh my God, it's 50. Like, all right. So someone put a picture together about 2 weeks ago when it said 50 degrees outside. Limit your kids' outside exposure. I was like, what? What's going to happen to them? I wear shorts I would go in the water at 50 degrees. Oh man, but yeah, people in Hawaii not knowing what to do. God bless them.
50 degrees. I'm out there in shorts wearing flip-flops.
Something else that I truly love. The attention to detail and things where they can basically, with the food again, how they're hitting every palate going forward. With the attention to detail, they're hitting every palette for your eyes for people, because you're going to have the maybe once every couple years, maybe once every 5 years. You can walk in the main streets, see the stores, see the castle, be amazed. Then you're going to have those moderate goers that maybe go once a year. They're not huge Disney fans. They listen to podcasts or read blogs, but they like a family trip and that's where they go. And they'll have that little bit subtle, more detail, the things you might catch. Like, oh, I walked past the bakery, the confectionery, and it always smells so good. Things that will, you know, catch your eye later, or your nose, all your senses, really. And then you have the diehards, the people who start podcasts, the people who listen to podcasts, the people who eat, breathe, sleep Disney, their tax return money. You call it tax return money. I call it Disney trip money. You know, those are the people where you'll see the different paintings they have on the windows above each building in Main Street. The people who are going to actually take the time to research them and see all the different things of why they did it. The people who are going to see the hidden Mickeys when they really weren't meant to be seen. The attention to detail in their cues for every level of Disney goer. You know, they really took their time to make sure that every level of person going there has something. And the thing is I go a lot. Chris goes a lot. Most of you go a lot. Every time I'm there, I find something different that I didn't catch. And maybe it is new. Maybe I just, or maybe it's, I'm so fascinated on the thing next to it because it was something new that I had never seen that my brain just kind of blurred out the next thing. And I'll go there and be like, huh. And then I'll Google it and I'll research it. And was that always there? And it was always there. And it was just, every time I'm learning something new every time I'm there. And you could read all the books, you could listen to all the podcasts, you could do all this stuff. But to me, I'm a hands-on learner. And every time I'm there, I feel like my knowledge of the parks grows. And this stuff has been there since the 70s or 80s and 90s. And, you know, they're always adding more and it's always growing.
You know, the interesting part about that is I think I'm not trying to say this to sound critical of anything about this, but here's my take. There is so much stimuli at Walt Disney World that it can be a little overwhelming at times. You know, as you said, the smells, the sights, the sounds, the people, the music, the shows, and everything else. We tend to miss things. we tend to miss things quite a bit. And I'll tell you right now, this is one of the biggest distractions in the world to a lot of people, a cell phone or a tablet or something like that. And I realize that in some cases it's a necessary evil, but it's also one of those cases where it's like, stop and look and take a look at some of the things. Here's a great example. I went through some of my first pictures at Disney almost 20 years ago. And down near the hub, there were a lot more trees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here's the funny part. Disneyland still has a lot of those trees, but they changed it at Walt Disney World and they got rid of those trees, basically allowing you to see all the glory of Cinderella Castle all the way at the end from the train station.
Yeah, but they ended up adding more trees.
Well, they ended up adding more trees. In other words, what I'm basically saying is that things constantly change, even in the small details.
Yeah.
And whether it be adding a new name to Main Street USA or, a new window, in a sense of like the window shopping that you can do. I mean, let's face it, some of the window shopping you can do there is just absolutely hilarious. Or even getting to know every name that's on the windows. Like, I'll give you and our listeners a little trivia quiz.
Okay.
Do you know whose name shows up twice or shows up on two separate windows? One person's name shows up in two separate windows. Who is it? Bonus points if you know where. Do anybody from our audience actually know? That's the other question. There's one name that shows up twice. Who is it? You'll get nothing for it if you get the answer right, and that's okay. But
I have no idea.
Really?
I mean, it can't be Walt. I think that's too cheesy.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's. I mean, it probably is Walt. I mean, all right, I'm gonna go with Walt.
If you said Walt Disney, you would be correct.
Really? I thought it'd be so cheesy to do that.
No, because here's the deal. The names going up and down Main Street USA starts at the entrance. As you walk in, Walt's name shows up at the train station as the first name.
Where?
As you walk in, like you go through the tickets, you go through the ticket turnstiles, look up in the train station, right under the clock. His name is in the window.
I don't think I've ever noticed there was a window there.
Ah,
see what I'm saying? How many times have I taken pictures or stood there waiting for people? I've never noticed that window. And that's just my point. Every time you're going to learn something.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that. And so here's the thing. He is also in a second window, as if you're walking back towards the train station from the hub. It's over. You look over to the right. It's over by Casey's Corner. His name is there again. Now, do you know the significance as to why he has his name in the beginning and the end?
No.
Opening and closing credits.
Wow.
Booyah! Opening
I like that. And see, how thought out was that?
Yeah.
How thought out was that?
So that's basically, that is, let's see, I'm going through, Brian saying that might be gone. They changed the facade. Last time I was there, it was that way. In fact, I'm almost guaranteed it's there still.
I'm going to have to check it out in March when I'm there.
If it's not there, I will sincerely apologize. But as far as I know, it is still there. And I would probably say that they would probably have to change some things, but I bet you any money if they do, it will eventually show back up. But I have pictures of it. And I'll have to find the pictures.
Is the train down again?
Well, the train is down right now because they're starting the construction on the Tron coaster over in Tomorrowland, which it's my understanding, someone posted some pictures online that they started to kind of put up the first like girder type of thing to, help the construction of it.
I'm super excited for the ride. Man.
But you don't sound it.
I'm there because every time I'm there, that stinking train is down. I've ridden it once in like 5 years, and it is the most relaxing thing to do, especially on one of those days where you have that nice cool breeze. It's not overly hot. The train's not packed. You just sit in the back with your arm out. You just take a ride around Magic Kingdom. Or it's a great way to get to the other side of the park.
No doubt there. And I do like that train ride. And I've always liked it. It's always been fun. The only thing I will say is that, because it is an actual operating steam train, there are times where it has to stop to take on more water because, well, it's steam, right? And when it's really, really, really hot and you're sitting there and it's taking on water, it's like, oh my gosh, please, for the love of all that's holy, fill up quickly. It's like, oh yeah, it's hot. So what do? Go on a steam train. I mean, it's like, no, that's the wrong thing to do, but it's so much.
The worst is when I used to be in the smoking section right there, right where, the launch from the back part where the circus is. And I'll be on the phone having a conversation with somebody, and they just lay on that horn the whole way through. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to need you to hold on 1 second. Excuse me while I
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's actually really cool, which I guess you could say, yeah, I love the details as well, Danny. I mean, it's one of those cases where we joke around about the different attractions that are coming into play, right? There's a lot of attractions that are coming into Disney here relatively soon. And I say relatively soon, like within the next 2 or 3 years. There's a lot of different things. And those are the things that we constantly focus on. But there's so much more. And there's so much more to see. And, you start looking at, I realize maybe not everybody's into those small details. I get it. And that's okay. But after you go to Disney for quite a few times, the part is that those are the things that you crave. Those are the things that you really want to see. Those are the details that maybe other people have missed. And you go and you look at, by the way, if you ever see any of those names on there and you don't know who they are, obviously you can Google them. But a lot of times, all you would have to do is ask a cast member that actually is, works in that particular area. And chances are they'll be able to tell you who that person is and what they did. Every person there has a story to tell and is a part of the story itself, a part of, something that was significant. And
I'm sure it's been done.
Cool. Yeah.
But I feel like we should make a YouTube series on all the glass behind the glass.
We'll have to figure that out.
I like that.
I like it too. It's really cool. I just think it's cool. The devil's in the details. It's so cute little details. Everything from that to the costumes.
Am I the only one who doesn't like any of the costumes for the cast members?
I don't know.
They're all dated and ugly, in my personal opinion.
You don't think that they're more like period correct, so to speak?
Oh no, I think they are, but they just look old. Like, well, all right, so you can't use like Adventureland or Frontierland because you're gonna be like, that's the whole point, Danny. Look at Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland, those do not look futuristic. And I'm not saying they got to run around in like spacesuits and helmets. I'm just saying they look like they were created in the 90s, and they probably were. I don't know. They always look dingy. Not that the people aren't taking care of their uniforms or Disney's not. I don't know. I've never been, like, I've heard people be like, oh, that's so cool. I love their outfits. And I'm like, I think they leave a little bit to the imagination. Personal opinion.
Okay. But let me ask you this. Is there one costume of an area that you think actually is okay. You don't like them, but that you probably think sucks less than the others.
Polly. I really like their ensemble. I think it's airy, it's nice. They get to wear shorts, the guys outside. I like the Hawaiian. It's usually pretty bright. Very well done. I'll tell you who I don't like. And I won't ever watch it because of how bad the Shake It, Move It dance.
Really?
Oh my God, hideous costumes, people. Hideous sin.
They do kind of seem kind of retro 80s, doesn't it?
Yes, very 80s, very like bright. And I like bright and in your face. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Polly has some pretty bright shirts. I look at it and I'm like, and I really don't like Frontierland. Not a fan. But I also am not a big fan of that time period either. I'm not a big fan of like if you take out Splash Mountain, I have no reason to go to Frontierland. I don't need Pecos Bill. I mean, maybe Skipper Canteen. I'll let you know when I eat there. But that technically Skipper Canteen's not Frontierland anyway. I would walk through Frontierland to get to it, but
well, there's a few people that actually agree with you. Disney Dupes over on YouTube says, I think they could be refreshed for sure. Teresa also agrees they need to be updated for the costumes for the cast members. And Brian says a lot of them have been updated recently. Not all, but many. So
it goes to show you they didn't do a good job.
Well, the thing is, you haven't been there in a year. So now you're coming up on what, 35 days?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, you're going to find out here soon enough, and you're going to make a decision on it.
Tower of Terror. I saw Bailey post it. Very good outfits.
I like to. Oh God! You know what actually makes those better? When the cast members themselves act in character.
Yes.
You can go ahead and have someone. Okay, fast pass line over here, standby line over there, this, that, and the other, and they're in the little bellman's hat and so on and so forth. But if you get a cast member in that costume, right as you're boarding, ladies and gentlemen, we are dying to have you enjoy your trip here at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Please try to be careful. And they're really getting into that kind of character with that look. I mean, there was this one cast member. Oh my gosh, deadpan in such a way that made Roz's deadpan look like nothing. I mean, it was just like
Haunted Mansion. Then I don't like their outfits, but their characters are nice.
I would actually have to agree. If they again, the costumes are one thing, the cast members make the difference. Yeah. And you're right. Doesn't the Haunted Mansion costumes almost look like, forgive me for saying this, colonial maid outfits?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Oh, yep. They have like the ruffles in the middle. And
yes.
I guess technically the time period for the hotel would have made
sure. I mean, I'm sure that, like, in the late 1930s, mid to late 1930s, that was kind of a style. That is actually really kind of the way it was. By the way, worst movie in the world is the Haunted Mansion, or not the Haunted Mansion movie.
Tower movie.
Tower
with,
Terror.
Eddie Murphy.
No, that was Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, and I actually liked that one. No, this is with Steve Guttenberg and a very young Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, I got mine mixed up now.
Oh, I've seen Detergents leave a better film than that. And Disney Dupes also mentions over on YouTube, I think that's what they were going for, maids at Haunted Mansion. So, and
I get it. It. No, I do. I'm just not a fan of it. I want to touch on something, and this is, if you're new to the show, this is what I do. Chris has a very nice, I want to call it prepared because we're never prepared, but Chris has a vision for how the show is going to go. And then I usually like to just jackknife everything. Because we were just talking about Haunted Mansion, talking about Tower of Terror. I really feel like both those rides lack a better gift shop. I think both their gift shops are terrible.
Well, a Haunted Mansion,
they have one. Yes, they do. It's not when you get off the ride. You have to walk past the carriage, make a left, and it's right there. And it's newer. That wasn't always there.
I was going to say, isn't that just all like Smucker's jelly or something like that?
No, when you get off that ride, you make a left. That is all Haunted Mansion now. They sell everything from prints to shirts to memorabilia. It's very tight in there. It is not big.
Yeah, it's a really small.
Yes.
I mean, my office may be almost as big, if not,
probably, yeah. It's not really large at all. But they've got a couple cool things. But that's usually about it. For as many gift shops as they have, I don't know, man. I kind of want to call Disney and be like, let me talk to you about your merch. You're lacking. Like Tower of Terror, what do you have in there? I would love to buy one of their robes. Never buying one of their robes because all it is a white bathrobe with the logo embroidered on it for like $95.
Sorry, that's like way expensive for a white.
Yeah, like it's not like the t-shirts. They're cute with Mickey and Donald and everybody. Not what I don't mind you selling that because there's obviously a market for it, but I want something that is really geared towards that ride. I mean, they spend so much time and effort in creating the perfect queues and even the underground queue and all that. I feel like that's lacking. Is there 2 gift shops?
Yeah,
I do like the little donut shop when you walk out though.
Yeah, I mean, Teresa says they need to update the gift shop for Tower of Terror. And as for Haunted Mansion, Disney Doof says, well, Memento Mori is better than nothing. And I okay. But you know what? Here's the funny part. We sometimes complain about the quality of the gift shops after a ride. And then there are times where we complain about them being a gift shop at the end of every ride. That's just kind of the funny part to it, right? I mean, if you think about it, there are very few attractions or areas that don't have some sort of gift shop right afterwards. No, I take that back. It's more mixed because most of Fantasyland doesn't necessarily have a direct correlation to a gift shop. Tomorrowland, you've got a couple. Frontierland, you've got a couple.
Couple what?
Gift shops right after the end of the ride.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to use space, then just incorporate that ride stuff in the closest larger store.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But at the same time, again, I'm not looking for shirts. I'm not necessarily looking for hats. Well, maybe I am, but
mugs, always a good mug.
Got to look for a good mug. When
we go as often as we do, I always sit here and complain. We want more merch. Make it more. At the same time, how much more crap can we buy?
See, that's what we talked a little bit about earlier, but right before the show, someone was asking me, do I have a good Disney collection? I've got a fantastic Disney collection, but I'm also starting to be very cautious about what I actually add to my Disney collection because now that I finally cleaned my office stem to stern, I only have so much shelf space. I have about half of one shelf left. It's blank, totally empty. And after that, I'm going to have to really wind down. Most of my stuff that I have here is things that are very special to me or things that I really like. There's a Mickey motif in my office here. I got artwork. I'm actually going to be printing some of my own nighttime photography onto canvas.
Oh,
to put in my office. I've decided I'm going to take some time to really spend some quality time editing and fine-tuning my photography. And I am going to create some of my own art for my walls, because that is what I do. That's the thing. I don't necessarily buy a lot of stuff, but I've got a crap load of camera equipment. And that's what I've invested in, because that is my art. That is the art. I am not artistic, but I can be artistic behind a lens. And that's what I enjoy doing. And now my son is starting to do that. And this, the next trip that he goes on with us, it's going to be interesting, because he's going to learn some of the things from me, as now my son is also a pirate, because he shoots a cannon. So, yeah.
With that being said, you got anything final words for the show? I hope not, because that is terrible.
Oh, listen, if you want to know the truth, I wasn't the one that actually came up with that. It was actually a security guard that came up with that. He was looking through my camera and stuff. He goes, "So you're a pirate, huh?" And I looked at him like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Because you shoot a cannon." I'm like,
where does a pirate go to eat?
Arby's.
Well, that's a good one too. IHOP.
Oh gosh,
they hop around on one leg. Anything else?
I'm gonna hit this button. Okay.
Do it.
All right. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Herd.
Oh, thank you everybody for tuning in, joining us live, listening to us. However you did it, we appreciate you taking your time. Like Chris said, follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We don't really do a lot on Twitter, but Instagram, we are kicking up our stuff going out. Trisha would kill me if I didn't mention it. Please join the WDW community Facebook page. And lastly, once again, we thank you all. I'm Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. Tuck your kids in tight. Wear your seatbelts, people. Tip your waitress. And lastly, give your significant other a big hug, because it is Valentine's Day. I am Uncle Danny. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Until next week.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate all the feedback, comments, love that you provide. We really super enjoy it. It means all the world to us. And we hope to see you again coming up here soon. But until we meet again, we hope you have an absolutely magical day. Take care.